What happens when you test a quiz funnel before your product launch, not expecting anything special, and then instead, you get an unexpected flood of super cheap leads and sales before you even launch? Well, that's exactly what happened to Gina Gabellini. You see, you have to see it to believe it, and I want to invite you to check out Gina's story in just a moment. But first, I want to share with you something that I think you're going to love, because right now you can get your hands on my full quiz funnel blueprint, which is a 25-page downloadable PDF that gives you the entire quiz funnel map in all in one place. In fact, it's the exact same process that I followed to build quiz funnels in 23 different markets, to build multiple seven-figure businesses and become a #1 national best-selling author and Inc. 500 CEO. All you need to do is just click the link with this video to download this free blueprint right now for free. Now, once you've checked out the entire quiz funnel blueprint, you might still have some questions, like what exactly does a quiz funnel look like? Is a quiz funnel right for my business? How do you know what your quiz funnel should be about? Well, listen, I'm going to be diving into all these questions and more in a special, once a year, free quiz funnel workshop that I'm hosting really soon. Now, if you want to find out more about how to implement quiz funnels in your business, all you need to do is this. Just click the link with this video to get instant access to that quiz funnel blueprint right here. And I'll also put you on the notification list for once we go live with the free training. So go ahead and do this right now while it's on your mind and you're thinking about it, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Hey, what's going on? It's Ryan Levesque here, and I'm super excited for our special guest who's here today, Gina Gabellini, who's going to be talking about her amazing quiz, her quiz funnel that she launched that she's getting some pretty cool results with. And we're even going to take a look at this quiz, which I'm really excited about. But before we dive into that, Gina, welcome. So excited to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your business? You know, who do you serve and what do you sell?
Yeah, super excited to be here. So I help entrepreneurs with client attraction, make it fun, make it easy, take all the stress out of it so people don't have to do things they don't want. This is my 25th year in business, so I'm super pumped that I finally have a quiz. Woo!
It just took 25 years to get here. Is that what I'm hearing?
You know what? You saved me from not having a quiz.
Well, I'm excited to get into it and to talk a little bit about it. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about not just your business, but what it is that you're selling on your quiz. So set the stage. Like, where does this quiz fit in your overall ecosystem? Is this something that you used as a pre-launch strategy to get people signed up to your launch? Maybe just talk to us a little bit about where this fits into kind of what it is that you sell.
Yeah, so I created it for a tripwire funnel to sell a $37 offer. However, I wanted to use it in my launch. So from the time we tested, we only had 2 weeks, and then we moved into my launch with it. So I've got to use it in all the places, which is fabulous. From $37 to a $1,997 program, live program.
Very cool. So just to kind of encapsulate this, back of the quiz, we're selling a $37 product, and then we also are using it in a way to sell basically a $2,000 product on the back of the quiz. But I think it's really important. So anyone, if you're watching this, listening to this right now, and you're thinking like, how does this fit in my business? Like, yes, you can use a quiz funnel to sell a low ticket product, $37, $2,000 products, and even beyond that. So just kind of keeping that all in mind. Very cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, so before using this quiz, maybe you can set the stage. Like, give us some numbers, whatever numbers you're able to kind of share. Because I know you and I were emailing back and forth, and you're kind of showing me some screenshots of stuff. And take us through kind of what life was like before launching this quiz, what things look like, and the numbers that you were seeing.
Okay, so let's talk about when we only had, this is important, we only had 2 weeks to test this before we went live with our launch for our program. And I was just talking to our team, and I was like, holy moly. So before, we were using a lead magnet. It's a free template that we give away. And we've been doing this for, I don't know, 1.5 years. We thought it was performing fine. It was fine, not amazing, but fine. And our cost per click from our Facebook ads were $3 to $5, anywhere in that range. And just like you promised, our cost per click was 72 cents. And I was like, what?
So say that again. I want to make sure people hear those numbers. What was the price per click before the quiz, and then what was the price per click after the quiz?
Yes, it was in the $3 to $5 range, depending. We've been doing this for a while, and then we went to quiz for just 2 weeks, meaning nothing is optimized. We're just seeing what happens. 72%. That's 72%. 72 cents. 72 cents per click.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. From $5 per click down to 72 cents. That's huge. I mean, that's a game changer. I can't quite do that math in my head, but that's probably like an 80% drop in your costs per click, like saving 80%, something in that neighborhood, which is incredible. Like, that's amazing.
It is. So then now that's a happy moment. The quiz worked. People are loving it. The sales started pouring in though. We went into our launch period, and then all these orders were pouring through. All these orders are pouring through from our test period. I'm like, what's happening? Are these duplicates? I don't understand. We were getting 10 and 20 sales a day. People were upgrading to our $97 offer immediately after. 40% of the people were taking our order bump. I mean, we just had sales going nuts, which had never happened. I mean, we maybe had 1 or 2 sales per day with our other tripwire funnel, and then my inbox was just like shh, sales every day. I thought we had turned everything off during our launch period, but they had left our follow-up system in place, and people were just ordering. It just went nuts. It was a happy nuts. It was a happy nuts.
This is
so we spent about $1,020 during a 2-week period. That's all we tested for, and we made almost $7,000. We made $6,945.
That's incredible. I mean, so you basically built this machine where you put $1 in and you make $6, $7 in return. And in your case, you put $1,000 in, give or take. You made $6,000, $7,000 in return. So the question is, like, how many dollars are we now putting into this machine now that we know kind of the numbers? This is a trick question, by the way.
A lot. That's what we're doing. A lot.
Yeah, as many dollars as we can get our hands on. That's incredible. I mean, that, you know, I always love to hear those numbers. Now, for anyone watching this right now, you know, I want to temper your expectations. Sometimes first go out of the gate, you get these numbers. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of tweaking and optimization to get there. But I literally just had a conversation with someone not that long ago, and same numbers. He's seeing between 6 and 8 X return on investment. So for every dollar he spends, he makes between $6 and $8 in return on the back of the quiz. And that's the power of a quiz funnel. I mean, that's like a quiz funnel both done and also done right. That's you know, that's really what can happen. So I think the thing that everyone wants to, and just, you know, before we get into maybe taking a look at the quiz itself, Gina, which I think will be cool, you know, like, what does this mean for your business? Like, if you think about, like, extrapolate this beyond just the 2 weeks and think about, like, having this type of lead generating and client generating sort of machine humming along day in and day out consistently in the background, like, what does that do for your business? What type of impact does that have?
I think it has the potential to actually double our sales, and I'll tell you why. Once people come into our world and they experience us, they become super fans. So to me, I know it's not just about the sales that we get from this tripwire funnel. They become the ones who, you know, come and just continue buying all the time. So I'm super pumped because I finally feel like I can pump more money in. In fact, what we were using before had kind of gone stale. It's like it's just breathed new life into this whole tripwire funnel. And plus, we never got these results. We never got these results before in the 1.5 years we've been doing it.
I love it. More results in 2 weeks than a 1.5 years, which is incredible. All right, we're all dying to see this thing. Can you show us, with a little bit of a ta-da moment here, this quiz that's getting these results to maybe inspire those of us who are watching this, listening to this, thinking, man, I'd love to have a quiz funnel in my business. What can you show us here?
Now, I'm going to show you, but I do want to tell you something that is another, like, bonus. This thing wasn't done perfect. I didn't know that. We were in such a hurry to just get it tested. I feel that we didn't use the most beautiful graphics for our quiz. The sound recording on the results they got on the video was crappy. I didn't know it. It just was not, it wasn't my most shining moment, and it was still performing like this.
Which is great, and I'm a huge proponent of let's work together to get the first version of the quiz, because the first quiz we put out there is probably not going to be the last one, right? Especially when you get results like this, it gets you really excited and inspired to think, well, gosh, I could have a couple of these things. Or what if I improved it? What if I try our best graphics? What if I improve the sound quality and video quality on our outcome page videos? Like, imagine how it's going to perform then. So I love this. So let's take a look. Let's put it up on screen. Let's kind of walk through what we're looking at here. So we've got this quiz. What's the easiest way for you to attract clients? Take the quiz now. So maybe just talk to us a little bit about, like, how did you come up with this? What are the, what other ideas did you think about? Did you kind of consider before launching with this one? Maybe just talk a little bit about the big idea or the hook behind the quiz.
Yeah, I know that I know a lot about personality styles. So I know that the one thing that people do is they try to attract clients in all these weird ways, because, oh, some internet marketer told me to do this.
Right.
So I just wanted them to tap into what their superpower was. And I just followed your formula. I just followed your formula. It was actually the first idea that came into my head. I had my 4 ideas. I tested them in a very small Facebook, well, our Facebook group isn't small, but I think I had about 50 people, answer a survey.
Yeah.
And even though I felt in my heart this was going to be the right one, I did due diligence. I wasn't going to, but you just kept saying you should probably test your idea. I said,
yeah.
All right, I'll do it. And that's how we came up with the What's Your Client Attraction Superpower.
I love it. Awesome. So maybe just take us through like a few kind of questions in the quiz as we, click on the button here, take the quiz now. Let's take a look. Which of the following best describes you? I have an existing business or I'm starting a new business. Great. Love it. Great. Grease the wheels question to kind of get things going. Awesome. Which of the following best describes the primary focus of your business? Physical, digital, in-person, online. Great. And by the way, for those of you looking at this right now, notice what Gina did there where she bolded the first couple words of that question to really make it easy to answer, right? So I love that you've done that. I love what you've done here with the capitalization, all caps, passion, educate, creative, simple. It really makes this question stand out. So which one's most natural to you? Keep going. This is great. If you had to pick one, which of the following is your favorite way to attract leads and clients? I love that. So we're getting people to pick one of all these different options. Excellent. Had to pick one, which you most want to master this year. Again, kind of bolding the initial few words: online marketing, follow-up, clear messaging. So we're really kind of dialing in. Can you see what Gina's doing here? She's really dialing in what the quiz taker most needs help with. And even in these first few questions, you can see how the quiz taker is really feeling heard and understood, as opposed to, download my ebook, get my tripwire, get my lead magnet. Like, we're actually taking time to ask a little bit about their situation so we can ultimately diagnose and prescribe. This is great. Let's keep going through a few more questions, and then maybe we'll take a look at some stats. Cool. So if you had to pick one, what's your most important client goal? I love it. Attract, close more sales, raise prices, upsell. Great. And this, by the way, is great intelligence. Look at all this great intelligence you're getting from this buyer segment. So that way, when you speak to people, you can have customized messaging in your follow-up. Like, I could imagine that you have a follow-up email, which is a story about one of your clients who was struggling with getting leads, and you could talk about how they were attracted more leads. And you could talk about another one of your clients that really was able to double their business or increase their business by raising their prices, or maybe helping people upsell. So you can really cherry pick some of your client stories and examples based on how people answer these questions, like this one right here. This is great. Let's go all the way through to the end. Just click through. We'll kind of go through these kind of rapid fire. Last question, if you had to stop doing which of the following and still get clients, which would you eliminate immediately? It's cool. It's an interesting question to kind of take things off people's list. We then get to our lead capture. It's fine. Yeah, click on that one. We get to lead capture. Beautiful. Look at this. Your unique results, your #1 client attraction superpower. And what's cool about this is superpower DE. What is DE? We got to find out. Like, I want to know. So maybe just put a dummy email address in, or test email address, whatever. There we go. Cool. And then click continue. And then we get to our DE. DE stands for demystification. Great. And then we got our video that walks people through. Next step, click the button below to continue following the process that we teach. And of course, a short little video does a bit of the heavy lifting. Click continue, get people into our world, and go from there. This is awesome. I see that you have a tab, a bucket tab. Are those some stats that we're able to look at on the quiz? Is that something that we're able to take a look at, peek behind the curtain? Cool, great. So tell us what we're looking at here. So we've got, so in the quiz, again, 2-week period. You know, you extrapolate that, right? So 1,025 opt-ins, 1,000 leads, and you know, just do some quick kind of back of the napkin math. 1,000 in a 2-week period is, let's just call it 500 per week. 500 per week times 52 weeks out of the year. And if I do that math real quick, 500 times 52 is 26,000 leads. Without any optimization, without any additional spend, a very modest $500 per week ad spend, which is, you know, is not crazy numbers, 26,000 leads. And you start kind of doing the math in your mind and you think, well, what if we put a little bit more fire behind this thing? Like, what if we add a 0 to those numbers? Boom, we're adding 260,000 leads to our list this year. Now we're talking, like that starts to get really exciting. So I love it. I love that you've highlighted. Take a look at that opt-in rate. When was the last time that you've been able to get an opt-in rate of 84% on cold traffic? Like that's pretty exciting right there. That's kind of fun. Very cool. Love it. Awesome.
I will also say that when we did this during our launch, we had a lot of people promoting us, some who have never promoted us before. They were promoting this quiz funnel, and 74% on average of partners, which is usually lower, right, than if I promote something myself.
Right.
It was 74%, where normally we see anywhere from 40 to 60% opt-in rate.
Wow.
This is average for everybody. To me, this made me extremely happy.
And this is huge too, so I want to just call that out for a minute. If you're watching this right now, if you do any work with affiliates, one of the things that you can do when you have a quiz like this is you can say, hey, this is a great thing for you to share to your audience. And affiliates love sharing quizzes because they're delivering a ton of value. And for the reasons that Gina, you just pointed out, quizzes tend to convert really, really, really well. So instead of sending to a lead magnet that converts at a 40% opt-in rate, for affiliates, getting a 72% opt-in rate is huge. I mean, that's, again, almost double what you would normally see on a typical scenario like this. So your affiliates are happy because they're getting a whole bunch of people into the system. So they're happy, your customers are winning, you're winning, everyone wins all the way around. So I love that you highlighted that. Let's take a kind of quick look at some of the other stats if you have them on that page, if we're able to pull it up. Unless I'm mistaken, I think we have the ability to scroll a little bit. We can take a look at some of the questions and just kind of give people a teaser on some of that. So we can kind of start to see some of these numbers. It's cool. So look at that. Look at all these questions, 96%, 97%, 97, 98, 99 on these questions coming through, which is awesome. Really excellent. And it's so good, in fact, that I would not advocate messing with this. I wouldn't advocate touching it because it's performing really, really well. So I wouldn't mess with that at all. Go down to our conversion stats. If we scroll down a little bit further, by the way, these are all stats inside of buckets. So when you build a quiz with the bucket technology or work with our team to help you with that, you have access to all this, which is pretty cool. And you can take a look at that lead capture step. So the step where we ask for someone's name and email address. You might think, are people really willing to give you their email address in exchange for their results? Well, take a look. We're getting almost 93%, north of 92% probably on average across our buckets, giving us their email address, which is huge. So, incredibly, incredibly powerful. So, this is really huge. It's really exciting to see this perform the way it's performing in such early days. And I think this has the potential to explode and be really, really, really big. So very, very cool. Very, very exciting. Any other stats that you were going to show, or have we seen kind of the main event here before I ask you one or two final questions and we wrap things up?
No, I actually want to show you something that happened. These tripwire numbers are extremely exciting. What happened during our launch, because I had a panic moment, many panic moments. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
So when we were launching, normally this number up here that says my entire launch bucket is in the 20 to 30,000 people opting in for our launches. This year, our numbers were down for a variance of reasons. But this number scared me. I thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We usually use webinars to sell. If we have a small launch bucket, that means less people in the webinar. However, look at our quiz. We did a free 5-day challenge, which we had 4,200 people join in. And then our quiz had 4,600 takers. But the important thing is during our launch, we switched the main event instead of them going to a product. It led to our webinar. Look at our webinar total.
Wow.
Our launch did, I think we had 1 or 2 sales less than we did last year. We had a third of the amount of opt-ins that we did last year. I actually did less webinars this year. I did 3 less live events this year, and I still had the same numbers as last year. What that means is less work.
Yeah.
The same amount of people, and I didn't have to get as many opt-ins. We had doubled our conversion rate on sales this year, which made me extremely happy. And while the quiz was just a part of our launch, I don't believe we could have got our webinar numbers. There's no way we could have got those webinar numbers without that quiz. We had the most number of people on it. We broke our, I generally have, during a launch, maybe 500 people actually show up on the call. We had 888 people exactly on our webinar. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
The big takeaway for me there, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it's so awesome is that you were basically able to double your sales conversion rate from past launches. So that's kind of salient point number 1. Number 2 is you had fewer leads coming into your launch for a whole host of unrelated reasons, having nothing to do with the quiz, but just kind of, what's going on in the world and circumstances and everything like that. And yet, even though you had 1/3 the number of leads come through, you still basically made the same amount of money. And then on top of that, you were able to make more and work less by doing 3 fewer webinars. So you're not killing yourself to get it done. So it's same amount of money with less effort, less leads, double the conversion rate, and that sets you up for, I think, a ton of success going forward. What's really exciting about that is you get to decide, do I want to kind of maybe not work as hard and make the same amount of money? Or if you decide to double down and say, you know what, next launch, I am going to do a whole bunch of webinars, knowing how well they're going to convert, given that your quiz, which contributed to your launch here, is helping you double your sales conversion rate. So it's kind of like you've got a lot of optionality here. Do you want to maybe take a step back and keep making the same amount of money that you're making without having to work so hard? Or if you are ready to work hard, know that you could potentially, like you said earlier in the call, potentially even double your business on the back of this. So I think this puts you in a great spot. This is really, really exciting. Gina, I've just got 1 or 2 final questions before we wrap. And the first question I'll ask you is this. So, people are hearing this right now, and, they might be sort of on the fence about, do I do a quiz? Do I sign up for, whatever program Ryan might be having available and his team? And, is this real? Like, should I do it? So for someone who's watching this right now and they're sitting there and they're thinking, do I do it? Do I not do it? They're on the fence. What would you say to that person right now?
I would say, do not be on the fence. It's one of the easiest things you can put together in a complete package. And not only does it work for conversion, what I saw is I posted one thing in a Facebook group about like, hey, did everybody take my quiz here? It was dozens and dozens of people deep just talking about how helpful it was. And I think more than any other lead magnet I've ever did in any launch, people were so appreciative of the results they got and the education it gave them, the big aha. So I think it's not only great for building your business, you make your people happy. Before they even buy, they are happy, which makes them say yes more. And the other thing I would say, I never hesitated when I first saw you talking about this. I was like, I don't even know what he's selling. I am buying it. And once I got in, the only thing I was a little bit nervous of, because I am a total technophobe, I didn't want to deal with the tech. And while I was not the one who put it in, there was some things that needed to be fixed really quick. And the first time I went in there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was such a stress case about this. It's so easy to change things here. I am not that person. I don't know how to work any of our back end on anything. Your software, I just want to give a shout out for the software because it is freaking amazing. The amount of detail you go into in the masterclass, all of it, to me, it was just plug and play. I didn't really have to rack my brains hard for anything. It was like, oh, he said to do this. I will do this. And it worked.
Follow the process, work the process, and you get all the credit in the world for actually implementing it. But I think that's the key takeaway here is when you have the right process, the right framework, the right support, and the right technology, and you combine all that together, you've seen, I think, what you're able to do in a very short amount of time. And anyone watching this right now, you're able to see what's possible, literally starting from scratch, no experience, doing this for the very first time, not having expertise in building quizzes for years, but following this framework, doing the first one, getting it out of the gate, and the results that you can get. So final question, Gina, before I let you go and get back to your busy day is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything about, either your experience working with our team, anything else that you'd like to share, from the heart before we wrap things up and we'll let you get back to, everything you got going on in your life?
The process, there was no hole. There was nothing I had to figure out. There was no part of it I was lost in. When I say this is a complete solution, it was an absolute complete solution. There was no guesswork on any part of it. And I really took to heart. You were like, hey, don't get crazy. Just follow what I'm saying. Because I am one of those people that likes to go outside the lines. And it was so much fun to create. I have to say that. It was just so much fun. And I did it in a very condensed time frame. I did it in 3 weeks when I had all sorts of craziness going on in my life. I was, the holidays, I had people in my house, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to devote a couple hours here, a couple hours there. It went way faster than I thought. So I appreciated every part of it. I'm totally geeking out. I'm so excited about this, but I knew I was going to be when you were talking about, when I heard you talk the first time, I thought, I need this. I really need this. I'm like, no, I don't need to do this. I don't need another thing on my plate. And then I did it. And I'm so happy. I am so happy. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was just a complete solution.
Gina, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Super grateful for you to kind of take us behind the scenes, show us your quiz, show us some of your numbers, tell us the story of how it's played out. Once again, I just want to acknowledge you for taking action on this and putting it in practice. And like I said, I'm super excited for scaling this further. And I think this could be huge in a huge, huge way for your business going forward. So thanks so much for being here. Super grateful and super appreciate you, and look forward to chatting soon.